Hey everybody, it's Mark Vo with VOGTLAND Outdoors. It's springtime, so it's time to review the VOGTLAND shooting method. The VOGTLAND shooting method is a 5-step, super easy to remember, super easy to do method of shooting an arrow that combines Olympic recurve archery and string walking. It ends up giving you the 4 characteristics that make a compound bow and an Olympic recurve bow so accurate. 1, it gives you a rear sight. In this case, it's the left edge of the bowstring for me. For a left-handed shooter, it would be the right edge. 2, it gives you a front sight. I'm going to actually use the tip of the arrow as my front sight. This is not uncommon. I'm doing it too. 3, you have a mechanism for precisely controlling the elevation of the arrow, not from the front by looking through a set of pins or an adjustable pin, but by anchoring the front and adjusting the rear using a technique called string walking. That you keep your finger in one place, in this case under your chin, and you actually adjust a gap between the nocking point of the arrow and the drawing point of your index finger. That actually changes the elevation of the arrow, which changes the range the arrow goes. And if you make a little change, you make in the elevation, you make a little change in the range. So it is incredibly precise. It's not uncommon to be able to easily calculate a distance that's plus or minus 1 meter, even on 80 yards, on 70 yards. The 4th thing, I have the ability to actually make a small motion release, not with any fancy flare technique, anything like this, but just by trying to pretend you're a mechanical release on a compound bow and try to actually extend your fingers with as little motion as possible. Why? Because that motion actually puts error into the arrow by how you let go. If you can make that as small as possible, then you're going to reduce the error that's actually being introduced at the moment of release. The 5 steps go something like this. Step 1, can you see the little green dot out there in the middle of that bag? I'm going to set a gap that determines the elevation of my arrow. That gap is between the nocking point of the arrow and the drawing point of my index finger. Step 2, I'm going to draw back an anchor under my chin. It's going to look like this. Step 3, I'm going to look down the left edge of the bowstring. Right here, it becomes a rear peep sight. Step 4, I'm going to put the tip of the arrow right smack on the target. Not above it, not below it, not to the right of it, not to the left of it, right on it. Step 5, I'm going to make a small motion release with my fingers. Introduce as little error as possible. Let's see what it looks like in action. Step 1, choose my gap. For a 40-45 pound bow, 20 meters is the distance. 3 fingers is the size of that gap. 1, 2, 3. Step 2, draw back an anchor under your chin. Step 3, look down the left edge of the bowstring. That's your rear sight. Step 4, put the tip of the arrow on the target. That's your front sight. Step 5, small motion release. That's in your bullseye. If you like what you just saw, play the video over and over again. You don't need to see any more. It works the first time, it'll work the 10th time. Learn the technique. Don't let yourself start anchoring over here. You're introducing error into your shot. Get it underneath your chin so that you're looking like this. Let me know if you like the method. It's super easy. I just taught 2 other guys out here. They immediately subscribed. This is Mark Vo with VOGTLAND Outdoors. I'm up above 3,000 subscribers after only 2 years. I'm tickled to death. I've been getting 100,000 hits a month, 100,000 views a month, and I'm approaching 1 million views total. So I'm very, very pleased. Thank you for that. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you out there.